Get the color guard back. That was amazing last night. That was unbelievable. You are, because it would be the longest, it would probably be the longest pledge we've ever had. Charts and puppies walking in. I do miss with not having Boy Scouts, because they'd come out and need to attend these events. You could have them.
Yes. Yeah. We just need to have a couple of SOBs on our agendas, and we'd pack this place.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, what do we want to do?
Sheldon, when's the last time we talked with our applicant?
Oh, is he virtually?
He did say virtual?
He asked me to attend virtually. I said yes.
Oh. Do we have a phone number when we call him? Having a computer problem.
You guys go above and beyond. I like it.
And what if he didn't get that second link?
Oh, yeah, we did change the links.
You missed that email. That's just an idea. I have no idea.
Sounds like a good one.
Probably it. Okay.
Guys, I don't know if we're going to hit that 710 if this keeps up.
Adam, didn't we bet $20 on that, I think?
Hey, this isn't my bad. Hey, can we start? I mean, we can say the pledge and stuff, right? And approve our either way, we have to start, right?
Yeah, we're going to start. We'll have one more second. We're just making sure he sends the... they had the new link. We're afraid that he didn't get the new link that was sent out at the last minute. Well, I guess it was sent out earlier, but yeah.
Sorry, Lauren. I'm just trying to advance my bet so I can make sure I don't lose.
I
Even
know,
though
I know what you're doing.
I know you owe him lunch or something.
there is one planning commissioner I owe lunch for a bet, and I will agree.
It's not me. I know that.
Oh, it's Chris. It's the debt's. I think it's probably up to 3 by now.
No, I don't know about that.
Interest, right?
No, I don't charge interest. All right, but I do think we can start. Hopefully he walks in while we're or jumps on while we're begin talking about it. So are we recording? We're good to go now? All right. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone out to the Thursday, April 15th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting. We will start off with a Pledge of Allegiance offered by our great staff member, Wendy.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello?
All right. It looks like the applicant jumped on too. But we do have a full quorum today, and we have both of our alternates here as well. But we will have Lauren, Andrea, Adam, Andy, Jackson, and Brody that will be sitting and voting. Do we have any conflicts of interest with the item on the agenda today? Great. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 2.4, which is a motion for approval of minutes for the March 4th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes March 4th, 2021 Planning Commission.
Motion
I'll
by
second
Lauren,
it.
second by Adam. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. And then we'll go on to administrative items. We have one item, 3.1, which is a request for an approval of a conditional use and site plan for an indoor recreational use known as Summer Sports Complex athletic facility. And we will go to city staff first.
Good evening. Tonight I'll be presenting a request for conditional use approval for the Summer Sports Complex. See, it's centrally located to the city.
Okay, I can't hear very well. I don't know if they can hear.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better.
Sorry, I'm just getting over a cold as well, so. All right, so tonight I'll be presenting a request for conditional use approval for, sorry?
I think that was just static on that.
Yeah. All right, I'll be presenting a request for conditional use for the Summer Sports Complex. It's located about 5639 West Mirabella Drive. It's centrally located within the city. The proposed site is C2 commercial. The use they're proposing is a permitted use in C2, but due to the site size of being over 1 acre, they are required to meet conditional use standards. The site itself is consistent with the general plan, showing that area as commercial. So what the applicant is proposing on this lot, it's a 2.6 acre lot. He's planning on developing this in phases. The first phase will include the proposed indoor recreation area, the Summer Sports Complex. This building itself is about 12,000 square feet. It will contain 2 full-size basketball courts. The intent here is to rent this facility to amateur or competitive basketball teams where they have a place to practice. The second phase of this development would be professional office space. That's the starting of that development is going to be contingent on the market. There's a floor plan just showing that the building itself is going to house 2 courts. The applicant's intent is this will be a rental facility. They'll be renting courts, not going to be a pay-as-you-play facility. So that will kind of limit the amount of people on this site. Also, his intent, his business model shows that this will be a practice facility only. No tournaments will be held here. Is that he's just offering basketball courts for rental. It's a need he's seen throughout the valley that is hard to find, and there's nothing in this area that fulfills that need. That's why he's proposing this use here. These are the elevations, proposed elevations. They do meet our standards for commercial. They meet the 60% brick stone requirement. One of those standards, well, being that this building is actually over 100 feet long, he is required to meet at least 3 features, minimum of 3 features. One's texture, color, building materials, architectural features. One of the notes we did put for one of our recommendations is on that rear elevation, the north elevation. He does meet those 3 minimum standards, but we'd like to see maybe some columns or some architectural features added to that north elevation. A lot of it due to its exposure from the public right-of-way and the proximity to residential areas that kind of help break up that facade. Here's a rendering. This was sent to me the other day. It wasn't included in your packet, showing the facility here. Did notice this rendering doesn't show the windows, the punched out windows along the upper, I guess, course there where looks like there's aluminum siding, well, a paneling above the brick course there. The proposed landscape plan does meet our requirements. It actually does, This this application was submitted before we adopted the water efficiency standards, and this, as submitted, does meet that standard. Per code, he's required for this use to provide 44 parking stalls. He's providing 60. He had a trip study done for this particular site, which included both phases, and that second phase actually being similar use as this first phase. And that trip study showed 51 parking stalls would actually fulfill that requirement for both phases. He's providing 60. Also, another concern we saw on the site plan was the location of the dumpster, of the trash receptacle area there. On the north end of this lot, on the west side of this lot, actually it directly abuts residential properties. They are installing a 15-foot landscape buffer, plus a 6-foot precast fence as well. We're just concerned with the dumpster location being that close to the residential properties, maybe off-putting some odors, noises associated with trash pickup and et cetera. And we're just asking that the applicant move that to the northeast corner of the lot.
We'll let you talk. The applicant will have some time right after he finishes this portion. So
Okay, yeah.
you'll be able to answer any questions or additional information.
Here's an exhibit of the wall they're proposing to place back there. There is an existing vinyl fence there that's on the backside of those residential properties, so I'm sure there'll have to be some discussion with those residents in the implementation of this precast wall. Our findings did find that with these conditions that the applicant does meet the standards for a conditional use, and staff does recommend approval. So if you have any questions for me or the applicant, let me know.
I don't have any questions. Are there any questions from the Planning Commission for staff at this time? Or do we want to wait till after the applicant?
Yeah.
Let's wait till after the applicant. Can we unmute Gerald Sommer? We were just trying not to have background noise while he was talking, Gerald. Gerald, so now the applicant, do you have any additional information in regards to this project or want to answer any questions?
No, I'm talking to the engineer. Everything is good. We do ask that the dumpster is left in the location because it allows for the flow of traffic. If we move it, then according to my engineer, it cuts into the flow of traffic with the new part, the future development. And so I own a dump company, so I would be the one taking care of it and maintaining the smell and all of that. And it would just be chained often, and we wouldn't have any garbage in there anyway. It's just basically being built because it's being required.
So question for you. Would that dumpster be used for the additional building when it comes, or would there be another dumpster for that building?
There would be another one for the other one.
That's what I assumed, but I want to double check.
Because he said, David Peterson said that would be required to put another one in for the next building.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So for our basketball facility, we won't have bunches of garbage going in there. If anything, it would be water bottles that come out of the garbage cans from inside.
Right.
And then, and I'm gonna ask just because I want to get a sort of an image of the amount of people. So, are there bleachers as well in there?
Are there what?
Are there going to be bleachers or anything on one side for people that? Okay. And then, is this going to be rented out for strictly basketball or additional stuff? Because I know there is. I'll call it a big barn for no better reason, because I'm not sure exactly what structure it is, where the community, and it's in another city, where they go and they do like Zumba or other classes like that, and so you can get 30 to 50 different people in there pretty quick, depending on the day. Is the rental strictly for basketball? Is it for other activities? Is it pretty much open use? And this is just,
The only other thing that we would do is if somebody wanted to rent it for volleyball, and it would be the same situation, same amount of people, same amount of cars. There is the talk that we could possibly rent it out to people that want to use the court for that new game with the paddle. I forget what it's called.
pickleball.
Yeah.
It's one of our staff's favorite.
I've never played it, so I'm not sure about it, but they talked about putting the lines in for that also, just in case.
It would be used a lot in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It would be used a lot. So no, that's great, Gerald.
If it's your favorite, I guess I'll leave it. I'll say we'll do it.
All right. Any questions for, and I guess you're the representative of the actual applicant, correct?
I own it.
Oh, so you are the applicant, okay. I just saw another name on here, so I wasn't sure. All right.
His birthday tonight, so he couldn't be here, so I'm here.
Okay, great. Are there any questions for staff or for the applicant? Jackson?
Yeah, so this I don't know what this use would be, but it wouldn't be used for wedding receptions or anything like that?
Nope, just basketball.
All right.
I was just gonna go along with Chris and say I think I don't know, like they used to have Soccer City and that got switched to Sports City and it's heavily used. So my recommendation would just be to make it multi-use. Obviously, volleyball's a huge sport here around here, and so basketball, volleyball, pickleball. I think maximizing the uses makes sense. That would be my
Yeah, I personally think
recommendation.
you could get a lot of pickleball during the day when you might not have the youth in there.
Yeah, with
playing
the older
basketball.
demographics,
Yeah, early in the morning with pickleball.
old people like me that play pickleball.
I just recommend that because I'd love to see you successful. I'd love to see it be successful and stay here, so I know
Yeah.
it's tough to make a profit being just 5 to 8 every night.
And I know even the rec center drops a net and has rental for baseball, drops a batting cage net and things like that on theirs. And so he's shaking his head, no, I see it.
From a land use perspective, I think that would be appropriate. I don't think we would have any concern. The one thing that we were concerned about initially was the potential of having competitions or some type of an event
something?
that's happening here. And so we were asking the applicant, will there be bleacher seating? Will there be something that might overwhelm the parking? We've been assured that that's
Is it the
not the case.
overwhelming of the parking that we're worried about?
Yeah, this is, right, this is a practice facility. And whether it's baseball or some other indoor sport, I don't believe that as a land use perspective. I don't
think it
think we would have a
affected.
concern with that. We were just concerned about having more like some kind of a competition event that would overwhelm the parking. And so we've been assured that that's
Like I said,
not how
without-
this is going to
without
be.
And
bleachers, it won't happen.
Mr. Summer, I think what we're saying is I don't think there's going to be a ton of limitations if it's based around sports and just like rental use and things like that is what I think we're sort of implying, is that we don't have a lot of concerns with that. At least I don't, and I don't know if any of the other planning commission do.
Just to touch on, if there's basketball tournaments all the time, and if they need to use a court, I haven't found out what they pay. But even if that's the case, like Riverbend Events Center downtown, they have 6 basketball courts in there, and at the most, they'll have 40, 50 cars in the parking lot with 6 basketball courts.
Yeah, even the sports complex, when we've been up there for a couple different things, and they have 1-2 soccer things that were going at the same time as a gymnastics tournament, and I would question if they have 50 parking spots. And so I think you'd probably be okay. But Andy or Adam, I saw Adam.
Yeah, all I was going to say is why don't we just put on a caveat that says that somewhere in the recommendations that ties it that it must be sports and that it can't be over a certain number of vehicles at one time. That way we don't have to worry about that that risk, right? I agree with you. It should be for sports only, and I'm sure I'm sure that we can easily do that as part of this recommendation for condition of approval.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
yeah, I'm okay with the recommendation of sports only. Andy?
Just a quick question for staff, just looking at the trip generation. I thought the trip generation for the office was a little low from the traffic impact study. I'm assuming though staff's comfortable with what was in that trip generation study,
Talk about that.
traffic impact study.
We have someone walking up. Hold on.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good question. Bryce Terry in our office, who he kind of takes the lead on traffic, he had no issues at all when he reviewed the study. So we feel comfortable with the numbers.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question on that. So remind me the hours for the of operation. I'm trying to find it, but
There is a possibility that people will go there at 6 a.m. to practice, and it will shut down at 11.
so 6 a.m. to 11.
That's my preliminary hours. If I'm not getting any activity, then I'll cut it back.
So I think my question was, so that road, Rosecrest Road right there by that school and then further up until you hit 134th, there's like one traffic light on that road. And so I'm wondering I thought I saw something that there were plans for another traffic signal on that road somewhere. So maybe staff could tell me if that sounds right or not.
On Rosecrest?
I don't know of any plans for a signal over there. We can look into that. The traffic study, though, did recommend no actions off-site needed to be taken to mitigate the traffic impact.
Okay, so we didn't feel like there was going to be a lot more generated that would cause, because it's already pretty busy on that road. So.
If I remember, and I think that's right next to the church, right? Is where this is, and I mean from a Sunday perspective, a Tuesday night perspective, a Wednesday night perspective, there's more than 50 cars going through there, so I think it probably will be able to accommodate. I don't personally think there's going to be much of an impact from that perspective with just thinking of where it's located in the light and everything else. Because also, since it's a practice-only facility, I think the traffic flow, you won't see 50 cars at one time very often, if ever.
Right.
And so
It'll be pretty random, yeah.
the only question I have, which it's not the one on the agenda tonight, is when he comes back with the office building, is the traffic flow that may increase in the morning. And so, Jackson?
Well, no, yeah, I was just gonna say, that's why I was asking the question about the trip generation.
Okay.
I just thought specifically about the office, but it sounds like they're fine with it.
I don't think any of it's going to compare to what the school does across the street.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
I do have one question because it sounded like if we can go back to the actual image of the building. And by the way, I personally don't have a concern with the trash can where it's located if it's 50 feet from the nearest home.
I don't either.
Because you're talking about picking up once every week to 2 week stops.
Right.
And 50 feet from someone's home, you have trash trucks that drive through neighborhoods all the time. So I personally feel like that's pretty minimal impact. So I'm trying to remember, and the applicant and staff can tell me, because I got the impression there were additional windows located here somewhere that you were trying to mention.
So the elevations show punched out windows between the brick course and the stucco course.
Okay, Gerald, do you mind? Is this the plan we're looking online? Can you see the one that we're looking at online right now? The image. Is that the image that we're expecting, or is there additional windows that will be located in here that we don't see?
We talked about putting windows all along the top, all around.
Okay, so that's something you would like to do?
I think it would look nicer.
I think it'll help with light too, probably.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, down the road, if we made this into an office place, that's why we have this storefront, then we would probably cut windows in all along the edges in the brick. Which
Okay.
is not hard to do. But for now, while it's a practice facility, I don't want the kid breaking glass and having that liability as much as possible.
That's true. Yep. Very good point.
Okay. I was wondering what end product I was going to get, if we were going to get this to start with, or if it was something different. And so that was really what I was asking.
I just sparked my
And I'm
attention.
okay with what I see. I think it abides by our standards. I don't personally have an issue with it.
I was gonna say that the elevations originally submitted showed punched out windows for.
And that's that's what these are across our punched out windows, okay.
I just noticed they weren't in the
Yeah, that's
rendering.
what I thought. That these were windows that would go in the brown area,
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
or even higher. Either way, it's fine.
Will the office, once that's developed, the office building, will that come back to us?
Yeah.
Yes.
It will. I don't have problems with either. I was just curious which one we'd see, so. Any other questions? Jackson, do you have a question?
Just a quick thought on the dumpster. It appears the proposed location in the plans on the northwest corner looks to be about the same distance away from the homes as the one about 100 feet north of that at the church.
Yeah, I like where I think the dumpster needs to stay personally for the flow. I mean, you're going to have parents swing around back and drop kids off. I think it needs to stay where it's at for the flow. And it's going to be minimal pickup, like you said, less than.
Yeah,
I think we remove that from the recommendations.
I agree. Anything else for the applicant or staff while staff's still up here? All right. Thank you, Mr. Summer.
Thank you.
And thank you, staff. Any other comments or discussion between the planning commission, or are we ready to make a motion?
I think we're ready to make a motion. Should we remove, I don't have my sheet. What recommendation is that? With the dumpster?
I don't have it in front of me. What number is it? Michael, do you have the recommendations from staff on there? Oh, it's
Yeah,
number
on that
7.
final slide.
Jackson, number 7? Okay, there we go.
So I'll make a motion to approve item 3.1, request for an approval of a conditional use and site plan for an indoor recreational use known as Summer Sports Complex, removing item 7 from the recommendations and adding number 9, that it only be used for sports and recreation and not exceed the current parking.
I'll second it.
All right, motion by Lauren, second by Adam. We'll call for a vote. Lauren?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
And Brody?
Yes.
Thank you. That was approved. Good luck, Mr. Summer. We're excited to see you in our city.
Thanks so much. I appreciate all of your time.
You're welcome. Have a good night. And
You
then
too. Thank you all.
you're welcome. Item 4, which is additional chair and commission comments. There is one item that just wanted to bring up, guys, and that is in regard to the town center. And I'll let Michael talk about it a little bit. It looks like there has been, and I'll let you bring it up. It'll be a
So
little
this
easier.
is, and I apologize, Commissioner Berber, if I wasn't clear. This is in the FR zone, the Forestry Recreation Zone.
Okay, so this is the FR. This is the text change.
As I mentioned in the work session, as we were talking more with potential development interests in our foothills, a lot of that property is zoned FR. And within the land use table, we discovered that there is, as a conditional use, a dwelling group, which is essentially an apartment project. But it's inconsistent with the rest of the metrics that are associated with the FR zone. For example, your density in an FR1 is 1 unit per acre. In an FR 2.5, it's 1 unit for every 2.5 acres. Those are your minimum lot size. We also don't allow clustering in the FR zone. You can't do a planned development in the FR zone. So you really can't have a dwelling group land use. So right now it's in the conditional, it's listed as a conditional use in Chapter 16. It's Title 10-16-1 Uses, Table of Uses. And so we're asking the Planning Commission, if you will, direct staff to initiate a text amendment to remove dwelling groups from that particular zone. Now, just to clarify, the purpose statement for that zone says the purpose of the forestry recreation zone is to permit development of canyon and hillside areas for forestry, recreation, and other uses to the extent such development is compatible with the protection of the natural and scenic resources of these areas for the continued benefit of future generations. It does allow for low-density, single-family residential, year-round and seasonal occupancy. It does allow for recreational opportunities that are open to the public. So for example, if for some reason we're able to attract a hotel in this zone, we could actually do that. If we could create some type of recreational amenity and even some very limited commercial activities, that's allowed. But an apartment or a condominium type project, if we remove the group dwelling, technically it's already not allowed because of the base zone, again,
We're
doesn't
just
allow
looking for
clustering.
clarity on the
And
language.
it doesn't allow the density. So it really is, I think it's an error in our code. And we'd like to just clean it up and remove that from the land use table.
Jackson?
Is it a holdover from way back when they were looking at a ski resort?
I
Is that
don't know. All I know is that the rest of the FR zone doesn't really facilitate the development of a dwelling group. We don't have any metrics that really would allow that land use. So we have a conflict. Either we would need to amend the FR zone itself and actually allow clustering or something so that you can actually get all your units into one building, potentially, or multiple units in one building.
I'd prefer
So
looking
I
at the
recommend
zone.
staff looks at this and the text change that they may need to make for it to be more cohesive or be more clear. And so, is that really what you're looking for, Michael?
So again, our intent is to be consistent with the purpose statement and the rest of the design, the rest of the zoning standards.
Because
of
it'll
the
come
current
back to
FR
us,
zone.
right?
It would be to remove that from the
Yeah.
land use
So
table.
it'll come back to us, and really, you're just looking if Planning Commission wants to recommend that the staff starts looking at
Yeah,
it.
there are certain authorities within the city who can initiate a text amendment. And the Planning Commission is one of those authorities. So we're asking for that direction from you tonight.
I concur. Let's do it.
I agree.
I agree too, because I feel like we're always changing from that zone, and I think we need to look at it and make it work. So it
Could
has
that be used
purpose.
though as like a hotel for like mountain biking and things, or?
Again, a hotel is a separate land use. A hotel would still be allowed because that's a commercial development that is allowed in the FR zone. This is more for like condominiums or apartments.
Yeah, for residential type.
Okay.
So,
So a condominium hotel would not be allowed?
Not as a permanent dwelling, not as a residential dwelling. If you were wanting to rent from a hotel, I guess for extended stay, I don't know, but it has to be a hotel. Hotel or motel.
Okay.
and then one other item I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to ask the Planning Commission to take a look at it. So I remember we talked extensively on the windows in the town center, the big brick buildings. Just when you guys are driving by, will you just double check? Because I can't remember, Jackson, because you probably spoke the most about it, about what we wanted to see there. And I just want to double check that you feel like that's in line with what we talked about.
Then we talked about a 3-inch like recessed.
We
window.
talked about a handful of things, and that's why I just can't remember exactly how it was, and I want to make sure that it appears how we wanted to, and then we can bring this up maybe in the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys. Future meeting, well, let me ask, any other comments? All right, future meetings. Wednesday, April 28th, 2021, City Council. Thursday, April 29th, 2021, joint City Council Planning Commission meeting. It may tentatively be rescheduled from Wednesday, March 31st. Okay, so we've already passed that, so we're good. Thursday, May 6th, 2021, Planning Commission meeting. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good night. Sorry, guys, we didn't quite hit that.
Chris, I think you get the most talking award.
There we go. I finally win at something in life.
See you later.
Have a good night.